an amazing adventure we've had moving from Toronto to Calgary. We turned this into an epic road trip with over 3,500 kilometers and 5 incredible stops along the way. Needless to say, we got to fully experience the beauty and vastness of Canada. So join us as we kick off this new chapter with the journey ahead. Last time we saw you guys, we had just moved out of the apartment in Toronto, gave back the keys, got everything loaded into our U-Haul U-boxes. We just left from Brampton because our friends were so kind to actually give us a place to stay while we got ourselves together, and we're leaving from there, which is kind of helpful because it probably would have been too much for someone to like pack up all their stuff and then head onto the road for 7 hours. So we are starting the journey now. We're going to be taking this trip over the course of 5 days with about 35 hours of driving in total. I've got some podcasts loaded up. I was trying to find an audiobook that we might like, but we'll see. We started our adventure from Toronto, driving about 700 kilometers to our first stop in Sault Ste Marie, which is one of 2 stops in Ontario. Almost every place along the journey will be a one-night stay, except for Thunder Bay, which you definitely won't want to miss coming up soon. It is currently 6:22 and we just arrived in Sault Ste Marie. I forgot to take a clip of the mileage for our journey so far, but I'll do it in the morning. About like 700 something kilometers for my American friends. I don't know how many miles that is, but it's not a short distance. Bean is going kind of crazy. It's a nice spot. I'm really glad I found this place and that they allow dogs, which was obviously the main thing for everywhere that we're staying over the next few days. Trevor has been an absolute champ with driving, and I have been the entertainment and trying to find playlists, podcasts, and all that, but we are absolutely exhausted, so I think we're both gonna just take a shower. Nina's very excited. Might look at somewhere to grab food quickly, but that's about it. I think we're both gonna be asleep very, very soon, which is crazy because it's like 6:30, but I think we both need some rest. It is the next day. What day is it even? It is June 1st. First day of June, and we are on the road again. We've stopped in just now at Walmart. I got a few things. We didn't actually eat dinner last night because we were so exhausted by the time we got to the Airbnb. The Airbnb was lovely. It had everything we needed, and we basically just slept and rested. I feel like one of the things I was hearing from people that go on road trips is to say, don't eat just junk food because you will feel like garbage. Not that we ate that much bad stuff yesterday, but it just, I don't know, it's easy. You have like something here, something there, and then all we basically eat is just whatever we find on the side of the road. So at Walmart,
for Trans-Canada Highway, Ontario 7.
Got us 2 eggs each. I'll just put my seatbelt on and then we'll continue this haul. I got us 2 eggs each, and these little Cliff Bars, some little Baby Bell. I also got us some oranges, which are just in the bag. And then got some coffee at McDonald's.
For 220
First drink of the day. I also got us a breakfast sandwich, even though I just said we don't want to eat junk food. So the next stop today is to Thunder Bay. We are going to be here 2 nights. This is about 7 hours and 30 to 40 minutes from where we just are. So what should we listen to first?
I call my mom.
Trevor's gonna call his mom. I feel so energized today. It's so beautiful, it's so sunny. I kind of feel like we're in a video game. We're not working right now, so the only thing is we're trying to complete little missions to get to the next destination. So
Final boss.
level 1 was filling up the U-box, and then level 2 now we've completed level 2 because we got to the first stop, and now we're going to the next level. So I don't know, that's just what I was thinking about. In the town of Nipawin. I apologize if I have mispronounced anything. There's a lot of different names and a lot of different towns that we've passed. We just stopped to get some gas, and I think we're about an hour and a half away from Thunder Bay now. I just got a sudden wave of tiredness as well. Generally speaking, when I'm in the car, I don't sleep. Trevor's gone in to get some chicken after he got some gas. But I will say that it's been so cool to see so many different areas of Ontario, but also it's crazy that we're still in Ontario because I think I've already said this, it's just such a massive province. As we've been passing through, I've honestly been thinking I wish we could have taken more time to stop and, I don't know, check out some of the lakes, check out some of the falls, because there's so many different places to see. But it is a bit challenging because between every town or every city that we're going to, you basically have to drive at least 500 plus kilometers to get to the next spot. So it's not unless we want to stay at some super remote, isolated place, you have to keep going to get to the next spot, or else we would have been getting into Thunder Bay very late. So we didn't stop anywhere, even though there was a lot of different places that seemed interesting. What happened to your chicken?
KFC doesn't carry chicken pieces in Nipawin.
Then what do they carry? We have made it to Thunder Bay. We got in around 6 o'clock and checked into our Airbnb. The spot is actually super cute. I was saying yesterday that it's kind of hard to find places, but this spot I saw was super cute. It has all the essentials that we need, and we're gonna be here for 2 nights. We didn't end up stopping to eat anywhere today, except what we had for breakfast, which wasn't even anything proper, but we were both talking about it and realized that probably for longer drives, it's not the best idea to sit and have a full meal. We're trying to find somewhere that we can have takeout because we have Bean and everything, but most places were fast food. Luckily, there was a Walmart nearby, so we just grabbed things that we would typically eat. We got a rotisserie chicken, some salad, soup, and just had a cute little meal here. So I feel like that's a really good idea if you're on the go and you don't want to eat out, because everything costs less than it would have cost to probably get full meals for 2 people at a restaurant, and it also doesn't make you feel like absolute garbage. So I'm glad that we got that as a nice little meal, and then we went for a walk around the neighborhood with Bean and just enjoyed the nice weather. Can I just say though, on the drive in, that fog was insane. You couldn't even see I don't even know, 10 feet in front of you at some points. Obviously we had to drive slower for that, so that probably made the trip a little longer as well. And then when we actually got into Thunder Bay, there was no fog, and it's been beautiful weather, so that was super bizarre. I think we're just gonna stay in again tonight because it's been a very long couple of days. I am really glad that we took an extra night here, because this drive today and then the drive tomorrow are the longest drives I thought it was this one, but I think it might be the one after. So when I was planning to book the places and everything, I just thought that it would make more sense that we have at least a couple nights here, and I'm really glad that we did that. So tomorrow we are gonna have a little bit of an adventure. There is a provincial park called Sleeping Giant Provincial Park, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like the views would be absolutely breathtaking if you actually went and hiked there, but getting there is actually an hour from where we are, so it's an hour drive, and it's also in the opposite direction, so we wouldn't be able to stop along the way when we're leaving, and also for us to get there it would take an hour to drive there and then an hour to get back, so it's just extra driving that I don't think we're really in the mood to do. So tomorrow we're gonna find a couple of things around the area, probably find a patio or something so that we can hang out with Bean if the weather's nice. But otherwise, I wanted to catch you guys up on how it's going and how this day has been. I'm so glad that we got here and it, you know, the place is nice and that we got a decent dinner, so just feeling very, very grateful. This was our only non-travel day spent in beautiful Thunder Bay. We started by visiting the Terry Fox Monument, honoring his Marathon of Hope with a scenic lookup point. Then we enjoyed a peaceful moment at Marina Park before heading off to Mount McKay to check out the viewpoint. The ocean's so beautiful. I'm just kidding, that's not an ocean. That was disgusting. What the type of bugs were those? We ended our day at a popular local brewery called Sleeping Giant Brewery and got recommended by a lovely couple there to check out a restaurant patio for dinner. Good morning. It is a super dreary, rainy Monday. Today we are leaving Thunder Bay to go to Winnipeg, and as luck would have it, after we left Mount McKay, we saw that there was a check engine light and also the cruise control light was flashing. So we've googled it, we've checked the manual, and there's like basically a multitude of reasons for why that's happening, but in summary we can't really diagnose what it is, so that's why we are at the dealership. So we're hoping someone can quickly take a look and help service it, and Trevor's just gone inside, but I'm seeing that he's coming out, so I'm hoping that we'll have an answer soon. Alright, you guys, we have continued the journey after we stopped at the dealership. The guy there was so nice and very helpful. That said, he basically said that there was a part that's malfunctioned, but in order for it to be repaired, it has to go into the shop. It's basically a piece that would control cruise control, so we can't use cruise control and stuff like that. I am not a huge car person, but that's the explanation that we gathered, and they just said to stick to the speed limit and you can't use cruise control. So we are now entering, or we are in the district of Kenora. We're not in Kenora yet. We just stopped for a little potty break and Trevor got some snacks. I love corn nuts so much. These are my favorite.
I know my people.
But we've been on the journey, got some Monster today. I don't think we've had any Monster yet because usually we've been on the Celsius. The green one and the pink one. We're in Ignacio Iglesias.
Something like that.
We were gonna try to get to Kenora, which is like the next major stop, but it's like 2.5 hours away, so I'm kind of like glad that I went because I don't think I would have made it that far. That's the update. Shout out to Ryan at the dealership, who was very helpful. See you in Kenora. We just left Kenora, which was our last stop before we get to Winnipeg. For most people that do this drive, usually the routes will show this as like the last type of town that you might want to stop into. I don't know what's happening with my voice, but we were trying to find somewhere to eat, and I think in the moment when you're traveling through these places, it might be better to actually know like where you're gonna go before you actually get into the town, because they're trying to get gas, trying to get bean to pee, and then we ended up getting KFC, as you guys saw, which did the trick, and honestly, we haven't had KFC in a while. The lake does look really nice. Probably in the summer, there would be a lot of water activities there, people that might bring out their kayaks or boats and stuff, but we got ourselves some Tim Hortons, and now we're on the road. It is, I believe, just over 2 hours until we get to Winnipeg. I think if the car situation wasn't happening and also the weather wasn't severely rainy and gray, then we probably would have checked out the falls that are really famous in Thunder Bay. They look really nice. We passed them and it seems like a spot that would have been nice to stop at, but the weather was so bad at that point. It was raining for a good portion of the drive this morning, and then also just us having to stop in to take a look at the car as well. It was just one of those things, but similar to here as well. We're just in and out and on to the next location. We've left Ontario. We have made it to Winnipeg. One of the spots that I'd heard about was called The Forks, which is I think what we're walking through. And also there's like a little market, hopefully find a little patio as well. From what I understand, there is a Winnipeg sign here, which we obviously have to come take a photo at. Dean is having so much fun. That's the sign. We can't get in though because there's a children's festival happening. We're determined to find a way inside. Even though we didn't get a picture next to the Winnipeg sign, this was still one of our favorite evenings of the trip. We headed to the Forks Market to enjoy their patio. Inside, there are plenty of food options. was the perfect evening exploring and enjoying the atmosphere.
It's not real.
Turn right onto Jubilee Avenue.
Call me the boy, you know what I mean? It's just, he's up.
Tim Hortons has been acquired. We are now on our way to the final stop before Calgary, which is Regina. Yesterday was the perfect day in Winnipeg. The weather was nice. We had stopped at the Forks, as you've seen. I heard about it only a couple weeks ago when I was trying to find like spots that we could check out in Winnipeg, and it was really cute. Nice little market, lots of different trendy spots, and oh my god! So we should be in Regina, I think like by 2 o'clock-ish. It's the shortest drive so far is this one, and then the one after that is straight to Calgary. So far it has been, as what people have explained or described, very flat. A lot of fields, farms, but at least there's 2 lanes for both sides of traffic, which we did not have through most of the drive in Ontario. Glad that we stocked up on our beverages. We didn't eat anything yet either, so I got us a little wrap and a little egg, some little bites. If you aren't in Canada, these are basically just like the little egg bites from Starbucks, except Trevor thinks that they're better. This is called a farmer's wrap, which is also very fitting based on our location.
Look at your mom's room.
Ew! You just know there's a lot of goose poop out there. It is definitely raining in Regina, and the gloomy weather is just making your girl very sleepy and ready for bed. Trevor just went inside to this outdoor gear shop. It's called Cabela's or something like that. I don't think I've seen this before, but honestly, I wouldn't be the demographic for this store. We basically couldn't check into our Airbnb yet, so we're gonna just go for the 3 o'clock check-in like we're supposed to. We're thinking about doing something in like the city or just like walking around and stuff, but the weather is just so terrible. Plus we have beans, so restaurants would be limited. There wouldn't be any patios available, so we're just killing some time, and then in the next few minutes Trevor should be back, and then we're gonna head over to the Airbnb. It's currently 2:46, so I think we'll just have a really chill night. Who would have thought it'd be raining so much in the prairies? Good morning. It is a very windy morning in Regina, but we're on our way. I've got a coffee. It is currently 7 a.m. 7:07 to be exact. It feels so weird because this was our last stop, and then now we're gonna be going to Calgary by the time that this drive is over, which is very exciting, but also felt like it was never gonna happen. I wanted to take a moment to reflect on what some of the highlights were, things that we've enjoyed. I would say I'm glad that we did go through Canada, even though unanimously I feel like anywhere that you read about making the trip, most people would suggest driving through the States because the roads are better, there's more developed cities and areas, whereas it's very clear in Canada that there's only pockets of towns or cities. So if that's something that you'd prefer, that makes sense. I don't think we will be crossing across the provinces again in our lifetime, so it's very cool to say that we did it. What? I guess Trevor has an itch to cross the prairies again at some point. But personally, I think I'm good. But it is still nice to say that we did it and we saw it. Also, just seeing different places that we typically wouldn't make the time out of our way to go visit. I would say Winnipeg was probably the most surprisingly nice. And I mean no shade by that, but I just had no idea. That said, we are traveling at this time in June, beginning of June now. So Canada is generally a lot nicer when the weather's nice. We can only imagine that if it was wintertime, a lot of these areas would be very, very cold. Another thing that has just kind of stuck in my mind is the thought of just how different everyone's lives are in different places outside of the typical cities or the typical places that you think about, whether that's in Canada or even the States. But we met so many nice people when we were in Thunder Bay, for example, and to put yourself in someone else's shoes, that it's just living their best life, and their best life is a version of life that's not in a big city or it's not in a place that you typically think about. Doesn't mean it's any lesser, and it was just cool to be able to experience and see what those environments are like and how vast Canada really is. I am very excited to be in Calgary. I have no idea what the first few days are going to be like. It truly feels unbelievable to look back at this footage and realize what an incredible journey this has been. And I'm so grateful to have had the chance to take you all along. Our last stop on the trip was Medicine Hat. And if you ever make your way out there, you have to check out Tino's for a burger and milkshake. The adventure continues as we arrive in Calgary and start to settle into our new place. Make sure to check out the next vlog coming soon to see how it all comes together. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.